Hey, I'm glad you're here. You know, for a long time, I honestly believed I had a money problem. I thought I spent too much. I thought I wasn't disciplined enough. I thought if I could just stop buying little things, everything would finally fall into place. That's what I kept telling myself, month after month, year after year. I'd make a budget, stick to it for a while, maybe a week, sometimes two. Then life would happen. A long day at work, a rough week, or maybe I'd just feel too tired to cook, so I'd order takeout. Or I'd stop for a coffee on the way home. Or I'd buy something online because, well, it was on sale. None of it felt like a big deal, not at the time. That's the strange thing about little purchases. They don't feel dangerous. They feel harmless, almost invisible. Every month I'd look at my bank account and wonder where all my money had gone. I'd shake my head, smile to myself, and quietly say, "Well, Mike, here we go again." Then I'd promise myself, next month will be different. It never was. Not really. I'd save a little, spend a little, feel guilty, start over. It became a cycle, one I'd been living in for years, and honestly, I thought that was just who I was, someone who simply wasn't very good with money. Looking back now, I can see how wrong I was. The problem wasn't that I couldn't control my money. The problem was I didn't understand what was really happening. Not yet. That all changed one quiet Saturday morning, a cup of coffee, a quiet house, and one look at my bank account that I'd never forget. That Saturday felt like any other Saturday. Nothing special. The house was quiet, my coffee was still warm. I remember thinking, how nice it was to have a slow morning for a change. I picked up my phone, not because I was worried about money, but simply because it had become a habit. Open the banking app, take a quick look, close it again. I'd done it hundreds of times, maybe thousands. I started scrolling through my transactions. Coffee, groceries, gas, a sandwich, another coffee, a movie rental, a subscription I'd completely forgotten about. Then another one. Nothing expensive, nothing that made me think, well, that was a bad decision. Actually, every purchase made perfect sense, at least on its own. The coffee? I was tired. The takeout? I'd worked late. The thing I ordered online? It was on sale. I had a reason for every single purchase, and every reason sounded perfectly reasonable. I kept scrolling, a little slower this time. I wasn't looking for a mistake anymore. I was just looking, really looking, for the first time in a long time. Then I stopped. Not because I found one big purchase. There wasn't one. No expensive vacation, no fancy watch, no giant shopping spree. Just page after page of little things, little decisions, little comforts, little rewards. Each one so small, I barely remembered making it. I sat there for a while, coffee in one hand, phone in the other. The room was completely quiet, and for the first time, I wasn't asking, where did my money go? I was asking something very different. How did I never notice this before? I put my phone down. Just for a second. I took another sip of my coffee and stared out the window. I wasn't thinking about numbers anymore. I was thinking about me, about the way I'd been living. Every purchase had a story. The coffee, because I was tired. The takeout, because I didn't feel like cooking. The online order, because I'd had a stressful week. The subscription, because I forgot it was even there. None of those decisions felt irresponsible. They felt normal. That's what made them so easy to miss. Then something finally clicked. It wasn't that I was bad with money. I was using money to solve problems that money could never solve. I wasn't buying coffee, I was buying convenience. I wasn't ordering takeout, I was buying a break. I wasn't shopping online because I needed more things. Sometimes I was just trying to make an ordinary day feel a little better. And that's when I learned something the hard way. The money wasn't disappearing because of one big mistake. It was disappearing because I never stopped to ask myself, why am I buying this? Not, can I afford it? Not, is it on sale? Just, why? That one little question changed everything. Because once I understood the reason behind my spending, changing my habits became a whole lot easier. The problem had never been my wallet, it had been my autopilot, and I hadn't even realized I was living on it. The funny thing is, nothing changed overnight. I didn't wake up the next morning suddenly becoming good with money. I was still me. I still wanted coffee. I still got tired after work. I still had those moments when buying something felt easier than thinking about why I wanted it. The difference was, I finally noticed those moments. So I made one small promise to myself. Nothing complicated. No budget on the refrigerator, no spreadsheet, no spending challenge. Just one promise. Whenever I was about to buy something I hadn't planned for, I'd pause, just for a few seconds, and I'd ask myself, will I still be happy I bought this next week? Not tomorrow. Next week. At first, it felt a little silly, standing there with my phone in my hand, having a conversation with myself. But something interesting started happening. The more I asked the question, the easier the answer became. Some things were an easy yes. Dinner with my wife, a birthday gift, a book I'd been wanting to read. Those stayed. But a lot of the other things quietly disappeared. Not because I forced myself to give them up, because I realized I didn't really want them in the first place. I just wanted the feeling they promised, and feelings don't last very long. Little by little, my bank account started looking different. Not because I was making more money, because I was making fewer unconscious decisions. Looking back, I think that's the moment my relationship with money finally changed. Not when I learned how to save, when I learned how to slow down. These days, I still buy coffee. I still order takeout once in a while. And yes, every now and then, I still buy something I probably don't need. I'm not perfect. I never will be. And honestly, I'm okay with that. The difference is, those little decisions aren't making themselves anymore. I am. I slow down, just for a moment, and I ask myself, do I really want this? Or do I just want to feel better right now? Most of the time, the answer surprises me. Sometimes I still buy it. Sometimes I don't. Either way, it's my decision. Not my stress, not my boredom, not a habit. Mine. You know, for years, I thought being good with money meant saying no all the time. No coffee, no dinners out, no little treats. I don't believe that anymore. Being good with money isn't about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes to the things that actually matter. If I could sit down with the younger version of myself today, I wouldn't hand him a budget. I wouldn't give him a spreadsheet. I'd probably just smile, take a sip of my coffee, and say, pay attention. Because that's where everything started to change for me. Not when I earned more, not when I spent less, when I finally started paying attention. I learned that the hard way. Maybe you don't have to. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next week.